are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey, everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 399, part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network. I am Jay, and with me is Mark.
Yes, I'm going to play a game with you, Jay. The game, I'm going to give you 3 clues, and you have to figure out who I am talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The first clue. Everybody, or at least New York Knicks fans, hate me. My contract is baffling. Yet I have 24 points in the first half against the Cavs.
Hate. Noah's not playing yet. It's got to be Timmy.
It's got to be Timmy. Timmy is lighting. The mood this week is a lot better than last week. You got to say this, right? You have to be a lot happier this week.
Oh, yeah. I was about to go off this episode, and then last game happened.
Well, we got up. We stopped last episode, and I'm like, Jay, you seem a little off during the show, and he's like, I can't take this team anymore. It's like they signed these insane contracts every offseason. It's never gonna end. The team is gonna be miserable. I don't know what's going on. Jay was on the brink of losing his mind.
Yeah, I was kind of faking it for last episode. If I sounded negative, it was way worse when I was actually off the air.
Oh my God! And since then they got manhandled by the Celtics. Yeah. And thank God that's not the most recent game. If that was the only game this week, we might have 2 on-the-air suicides.
But the Nets game was the breakout of Frankie.
Frankie, oh my God. Should we talk about what we have here with Frankie?
One game sample.
One of the fans in the Facebook question said we should start the show with the French national anthem. I texted Jay, hey, how about we do this? And Jay's like, holy crap, he's played for like 17 minutes. How starved is our franchise?
Yeah, I thought it was maybe a little premature.
He looks really good, though. I mean, obviously, he's not an all-star yet. He has a ways to go. But the potential, there's a lot of things I saw there were just I haven't seen from a young Knicks point guard in my lifetime.
Well, I mean, it's all about the defense.
Well, did you see maybe Knicks Wall? Some other site put up made a video of Ntilikina's defense from that game, and he looked pretty good. They showed the little things he did during the game, like just being in the right position, having his arms up, being like aggressive on defense. That looked pretty darn good. He
seems years ahead of almost everybody on this team as far as defense goes.
Oh my God! Oh, by the way, he's played like 7 minutes tonight.
Like
Knicks are playing the Cavs. It's a must-win game for Hornacek, I guess. He should play more tonight. But he hasn't played that much. Jared Jack is also pretty good, also, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about Ntilikina a little bit longer. I can talk about Ntilikina for the next hour.
He seems like he knows how to cut off passing lanes, when to leave players who can't shoot in order to help. He knows how to navigate screens, whether to go over or under them. He stays in front of guys. He keeps his hands up at all times. He seems like he has fundamentals that you usually don't see from a guy that age.
What about his court vision on the offense? His passing, he had some nice passes.
He did. That was the thing I was worried about the most, actually, with him.
The point guard ability?
Yeah, I thought we had like a defense, like basically a 3-and-D guy without the 3. Just a defensive guy.
He's shooting actually so he started the net game off with like missing a bunch of shots, was very tentative on offense as far as like his own shot. Mm-hmm. But he came on near the end of the game, and I think he's hit a shot tonight against Cleveland. I think the offense he's not going to be Kyrie Irving out there as far as offense, but I feel like he's going to be able to score like 10 points a game.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's played 7 minutes and he has 2 and 2. People like doing the per 36 minutes. Per 36 minutes, that's a triple double.
Yeah, there you go. I thought your math. There's no way. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
7 times 5 is 35. Multiply all those. 2 times 5 is 10.
He has to stop using your CPA level math, Jay. He had some passes. There was a pass. Like he's doing the passing where like other teams you always do against the Knicks, where like he just sees a lane and creates like he had this perfect bounce pass to Kyle O'Quinn, where suddenly Kyle O'Quinn had the ball right next to the basket. He had a perfect ball pass right to Michael Beasley out of nowhere. Michael Beasley had an easy dunk. He's doing those things that point guard's supposed to do, is set other players up for easier shots.
Mm-hmm.
I was tremendous. By the way, I watched this game twice because for some reason my son was a little bit sick this weekend, and he wanted to watch the Knicks play, and we watched the entire Knicks game. He just sat there and we watched the entire. I'm like, this is cool. We're watching the Knicks. I mean, I watched it last night, but I'm like, I'll watch the entire game again today.
That's awesome, getting him into it early.
Yeah, he actually has not. He's not been into any other sport, and he hasn't been into watching baseball, football, anything else. I'm wondering if maybe he'll. I mean, it was good also because we were watching that game. I'm like, he's like, I hope they win. I'm like, I have a shot. I think I have a feeling here they actually might beat the Nets. I'm just saying. He's like, they're losing. Don't worry, they'll come back. I'm pretty sure. Second half will be really good here.
You're like, I had a roommate who would watch Jeopardy every day, but if he brought a girl over, he would watch the repeat later on in the night and pretend he knew all the answers.
She's like, oh my God, you're so smart. Yeah, well, you know.
We definitely can't watch Jeopardy at 7, though. We have to watch the 11 o'clock.
What do you say? So we talked positive about Ntilikina. His court visions look great.
Mm-hmm.
What does he need to? We'll get into the games in a second. But what does he need to work on? What are the negatives so far?
He definitely needs to improve his shot a little bit. It's not terrible, but it needs improvement.
I think in France he was known for his 3-point shooting. Actually,
I've seen practice, and he's nailing the 3-point shot. So maybe it's just jitters. I mean, really, we're trying to break down a game and a half's worth of material here.
I mean, Timmy Hardaway had a much longer. He's been playing for a couple of years, and supposedly could shoot threes and was horrific for the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot to jitters. Did you hear the thing about LeBron James? They mentioned it during today's game. He had LeBron James, one of his teammates in high school, ended up playing in France and played with Ntilikina, and told LeBron, "You got to watch out for this kid."
Oh wow.
That was kind of cool. I was like, yeah, you're telling LeBron he's got to watch out for this kid.
We are getting called idiots on Twitter right now because I made a tweet making fun of Noah and Hardaway, and he's saying we're dumbasses because we'd rather somebody like Otto Porter. But I would rather Otto Porter than Noah or Hardaway, so I guess I'm a dumbass.
Well, first of all, Otto Porter's a better player than Timmy Hardaway, at least right now.
Yeah. And he's way better than Noah, and he's younger. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah, why are people making fun of us for that?
Because it's Twitter, and that's what people do on Twitter.
Noah's garbage. I hope Noah plays well when he comes back. I do have, before the season started, I had some faith in Timmy Hardaway. I lost a lot of faith after the first couple games of the season, but I'm really hoping it ends up being good because it would be that was killing us the first couple games of the year. That everything was falling on Porzingis, and Hardaway was doing jack.
Yeah.
You really need Hardaway to assert himself and be the second scoring threat in this team. It makes Porzingis better, makes everyone better. That's kind of his role. He's got to assert himself.
He has to. If he's not playing D, so he has to hit shots. That's it. Bottom line.
He had some nice long passes. He's also a pretty good passer on the break.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about Jared Jack and the R.I.P. Raymond Sessions?
I am thinking Jack is not going to get cut now.
I do not think. Well, how is Kuz not getting cut?
Well, he is.
I mean, Kuz. Well, they only have to cut one guy. It's going to be Kuz. How would it be anyone else?
It's definitely. Well, we were saying it was Jack at the beginning of the season. It's definitely Kuz now.
Yeah. Well, they're not even playing Kuz. They have no faith. They don't want to play Kuz.
I mean, I'm still upset that somebody has to get cut for Noah, but it's Kuz.
I don't think Kuz is going to have that much in an NBA career that I'm that worried about. I think there are guys in this team that do everything he does, so I'm not really that concerned.
Yeah, no. It's just the fact that somebody's getting cut for Noah. I'm not upset about Kuz leaving. I'm just upset that anybody has to lose their job for Noah, who's been washed up for 3 years.
So you would, like, the Knicks will call that in, like no one gets activated. They have to whatever they have to do. These cut players, they call in the league. They're like, listen, we no one's activated again. We're gonna cut Kuz, and the league officials like, oh, you don't really have to. Like, it's Noah. Like, we can't even do that to you. Okay, let's talk about the games.
Okay.
So let's start with the Celtic game. The Knicks supposedly played the Celtics. I don't know if "played" is the right word.
I mean, they were on the court.
They got slaughtered.
Yeah.
Absolutely slaughtered.
I mean, that game was over, 6 minutes into the game?
I mean, they lost by 20 and it never felt that close.
No. I mean, well, they were down by like 12, 6 minutes into the game, and you basically saw the way it was going after that.
Well, the Celtics, they would double Porzingis, and they gave Porzingis a lot of trouble on defense, and then no one else could score, which made it brutal. Timmy Hardaway would just miss every shot, or he would just stand in the corner hoping to not be seen during the offensive possession.
Mm-hmm.
So he was awful. And then I don't even know what was going on in that game. Like, Jack played in that game. Jack didn't look that great. Beasley, what do you think of Beasley so far?
Not impressed.
I mean, I'm not even remotely impressed.
No, I was a little excited about him, and he's not good.
Would you say in a weird way he's looked a little better than you expected on defense, and a little bit worse than you expected, and just not even a little bit worse than you expected on offense?
Much worse on offense, and yeah, a little better on defense.
Like, defense, I expected him to be like just horrible. He's been fine. I don't think he's like league average defense or anything, but he's been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Offense, I thought he'd be a guy that, like, you had to live with his defense, but he could explode on offense. The Knicks have given him plenty of chance already to, like, explode on offense, and he's looked pretty pedestrian, pretty mediocre on offense.
Yeah, I think he's out of the rotation now.
You think so? I don't know. I think he's gonna. I feel like this game that you're gonna look at the Cavs game as being an anomaly, because I feel like this is a game where Hornacek is playing a little bit different lineups than he might do against other teams.
Well, he's going super small because the Cavs are basically super. The Cavs are funny because they don't have a center and they barely have a point guard. It's just the team of 2 through 4s.
They also coming off a loss to the Nets. The Knicks beat the Nets by the order of whateverness. The Knicks are better than the Cavs with you, right?
Yeah. I mean, if the Knicks win, they will have
won the 3 finals in a row.
they'll only be a half game behind the Cavs. If you told me 6 games into the season the Knicks would be a half a game behind the Cavs, I would have called you a liar.
By the way, Derrick Rose, I just saw. I'm watching the game on the background. Rose just drove to the basket. I mean, Rose, the one thing he still can do is get to the basket. It is his only impressive skill.
Literally his only skill.
Like, he just doesn't. The thing is, he goes to the basket. He never looks for anyone else. He's never like, hey, I might want to pass to my teammate and set him up and make the offense look good.
He doesn't pass and he doesn't draw fouls. So if he misses the layup, play is over.
I mean, I thought he would look better. He looks about the same as he looked in the Knicks last year. I thought he'd look better on the Cavs.
I didn't.
But you didn't, obviously. Okay, so Celtics game. Anything else you want to?
Oh no, I was just gonna say you're right about this game being an anomaly because it seems like Hornacek's going super small. He's not playing Willie and he's barely playing O'Quinn. So
yeah, O'Quinn went in at the end of the half only because Cantor looked really shitty at the end of the half.
So, I mean, a plus for that is it looks like our coach is actually paying attention to matchups and making adjustments. We've had prior coaches who did not do that.
Have we have coaches that have done this?
I mean,
Hornacek, his rotations still are a little bit suspect to me. I think it's early in the season. I can't kill him on a lot of stuff, but he is paying some attention. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, Lance Thomas was playing tonight. I don't know why Lance Thomas was playing tonight, but maybe it's part of the small lineup thing.
Well, it's also, I mean, let's be honest. The bench, other than O'Quinn and Willie and Frank, who all get minutes sometimes, everyone else is pretty much expendable.
I'd like to see Frank get more minutes tonight. Frank's been there for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like Frank should play 20 minutes tonight.
Also,
I care more about player development than winning. It'd be nice to beat the Cavs, and I feel like this would be a nice game to win. And I can see, like, early in the year, Hornacek goes all in to win this game. I can't, like, fault him that much for that. But
true,
nice.
But I would also like to see Frank not sit like 20 minutes straight. Like, I don't. It's hard to sit a guy for like an entire quarter and then throw him into like the beginning of the fourth quarter and be like, all right, now play good.
Right. There's about 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Ntilikina should be in the game by now. And Ntilikina has looked pretty decent so far, and his defense has been pretty okay. If anything, you could also do, you could throw out Jack and Ntilikina together.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see him playing a little bit. You know who I'd like to see playing, and I'd like to get in the rotation. I'd like to see Dotson get a little more playing time soon. Doesn't have to play tonight, but he should be playing soon. I don't understand why not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really hard for Dotson to get minutes.
But the thing is, have you watched McDermott? McDermott hasn't been that great. It's not like Lance Thomas is all that great. The guys that are playing over him aren't that great.
Actually,
there's no.
The thing just posted a good question. Do we have space to keep Kuz on a 2-way G League contract?
No, only because they've already given it out. They gave their second. You only get two-way contracts. The Knicks gave their second two-way contract out already.
Look at you knowing stuff.
Oh, I know facts.
Can you name those two players, or is that asking too much?
Well, one of them is a tall gentleman. Who's the guy God damn it, what's his name?
A tall gentleman.
I know. That was a joke. But who is the guy that was supposed to be like KP Light? I'm going to just look up Knicks roster and pretend I'm not doing that. It is Luke Cornett.
Okay.
The other guy, I have no idea. And that's just, I'm not going to figure it out, Jay, because I can't Google that fast.
Okay. So
it doesn't really matter. The other guy didn't seem like he was not on the Knicks D League team. He was not on the Knicks Summer League team. They found him somewhere else. We'll talk about Westchester games another time. But Westchester hasn't started yet, or has it?
I don't think it started yet.
I don't think it started yet. When Westchester starts, we can talk about that player. But I don't know who he is right now.
If you know a lot about the Westchester League and you want to be our beat reporter, email us at the New York Knicks podcast. No, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. And you could write for the site. We'll plug whatever you want. We've had good luck with that lately. We've had some really good people posting.
Well, Jay, what if they want you to plug their pro white supremacist group? You said anything, Jay, and now we're bound to. Now we have to plug white supremacy, Jay. Way to screw us over.
I ruin everything.
Let's go.
We had some people join Patreon, so thank you very much. Patreon.com/NYKnicksPodcast. We had somebody buy a shirt. I am calling the Knicks pen thing a saga now. Because I got an email.
Jay got pens because he thought somehow pens would be what helped make our show. Isaiah Hicks, by the way, is the guy.
So the person who bought shirts, I'm waiting for the pens. That's why you haven't gotten your shirt yet. So sorry for the delay.
Okay.
I got an email that said the pens were delivered yesterday.
Yeah.
But I have no pens.
Well, Jay. Okay, so if you're following this by having listened to the Brink already, Jay talked about this. Jay has paid $100 for 100 pens because it was somehow his guerrilla marketing thing for the show, which is insane. But he hasn't actually given the money over, so they're not going to actually give the pens over. That's how it's supposed to work, Jay. You didn't hit submit the payment. They're not going to go hit submit your pen.
Well, I got a tracking number, and I tracked it all the way here.
Well, if you don't have them, then apparently they're tracking your money, and the money hasn't arrived there either. Cool. Let's talk about the Nets game. Okay. So net game was awesome. Knicks started off the first quarter. They were down by like 5 in the first quarter. They did not look that good in the first quarter. It was a little bit sloppy. The defense wasn't that good. The Nets were hitting some shots. We're getting worried, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, here we go again. Same old, same old.
And then I think Beasley came on. They not that he was the igniting force, but Ntilikina came on. Made a big difference. They basically changed lineups, got some of the guys, put Kyler Quinn in. Knicks started playing a lot better defense, and from there they just took off and just started crushing the Nets. And it became a very, very fun. And the third quarter was amazing.
Third quarter was the most fun I've had all season so far.
Oh my God, Knicks were playing solid defense.
And by the most fun, I mean the only quarter I've had fun this season.
Porzingis was eating people alive on offense.
Yeah, he had this one play that actually made me yell out loud.
Which one?
He did like a spin move and then ended up dunking it on like 3 guys' faces, and it was just beautiful.
He's pretty fun to watch. There was another one where he just no one was guarding him, and he came back up the middle and just dunked it. He got the rebound and just threw it right back in.
Mm-hmm.
The game was going so well. Did you see the play where Cantor was trying to rebound the ball and just accidentally knocked it back in the basket?
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, the ball came off. Cantor went up for to grab the rebound and accidentally just hit it back up into the basket. I was like, this is our night. But this is the game. Obviously, Ntilikina looked a lot better. Mm-hmm. Everything went well. And this is also, what was great, actually, you talk about Hornacek paying attention. Early in the game, Cantor does not run back on defense, and Hornacek goes, okay, you're not playing. It just takes him out of the game.
I love that.
That was great. That you want to see, especially with our centers who are all defensively challenged. Pull them if not playing defense. You need defense from the centers.
Well, you need accountability all the way around. I don't care who it is.
Hernan Gomez played and looked pretty good also.
I mean, we've been saying that for years. Like, even if it's Melo, just hold everybody accountable.
Yeah, actually, during the Cleveland game, by the way, in the first half, at some point, they took LeBron out early in the game, and Clyde was joking that he's like, I'm thinking they didn't take LeBron out to hold him accountable for his lack of defense. Yeah, but the Knicks looked great. The defense, they played good team defense, and I know against the Nets, but the Nets coming into the game had the best offense in the NBA coming into the game,
which is just weird hearing that sentence.
They were averaging 120 points a game. The Knicks held them to 86. It was nice.
Yeah,
and by the way, the Knicks are up 17 points on the Cavs right now.
This is like a completely different podcast from last week.
Jay, none of us have to kill ourselves.
Good news.
This is wonderful. We can hold off drinking the punch you made till next week.
I'll keep it in the freezer. Make sure it doesn't go bad.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. The Hardaway has 29 points. Timmy freaking Hardaway has 29 points. And the one thing I was thinking about during the Net game, and even the games before that, especially the games before that when they were 0-3, there were certain things that are going to get better. Timmy Hardaway is going to get better, and when he gets better, that'll make a huge difference. And in the Net game, he played like crap, and I figured, when Hardaway gets better, how much more would they kill the Nets if Hardaway was playing well?
Well, that's key. You need more than one player playing well, which wasn't the case for the first 3 games of the season.
Hardaway, he came on at the end of the Net game. He hit a couple shots, and I guess some of his confidence came back.
Yeah.
He had missed 2 shots to start the game against Cleveland, and then he started driving to the paint a little more, and that made a big difference. He in the Cavs game, at least this today, he drove to the paint a little bit. He got I think Courtney Lee hit him on the move to the basket, and he got an easy score. And I think once you get the confidence going, Hardaway can play a much better. Do we think he's J.R. Smith, a better or worse J.R. Smith?
I hope not. I hope he's not as streaky. I hope he just had jitters coming back to New York, knowing he was in the spotlight, and he got that out of his system. I really hope.
J.R. Smith had some. He wasn't a terrible player here. He was a very frustrating player, but he could be really good at times.
Yeah, but he was super, super streaky.
I know. Hardaway, he looked really good in the preseason. He looked terrible to start the year, but and I don't know what's going to happen from here, but I'm very happy with Hardaway's performance. That was the one thing I was going to complain to no end about on today's show.
Yeah, me too. But now we can't.
There's not. You want to hear even crazier?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at his stat line right now. What's the craziest number in his stat line?
Let's see. He's shooting 10 for 14, which is crazy, but
not the craziest thing.
I think 5 assists.
5 assists from Timmy Hardaway.
Yeah.
Holy crapola!
I'll take that.
Yeah, they better beat the Cavs tonight. We better not be ending the show by hearing the Cavs making an amazing comeback. That'll be not amazing, but a comeback. Ntilikina still barely played tonight, which is annoying me.
Let's see. Emails. We had one that was from our Facebook group. We read that last week, right? The one we forgot, and then we forwarded to make sure we read that last week.
Yeah.
Okay. So other emails. This is the first episode I think ever we didn't get one.
Okay, well, that was a lot of emails you read there. We have a bunch of Facebook questions, and I think we're getting a call. We're gonna do our 10-minute of diehard Knicks fan thing in a little bit, so that'll be coming up.
So nyknickspodcast@gmail.com or nyknickspodcast on Twitter, and we have a comedy podcast called The Brink of Sanity. You can find that on iTunes or go to brinkofsanityshow.com.
But if you want to do 10 minutes of diehard Knicks talk with us, we'd love to have you. Email us. We're already been filling up we're getting excited. This is an in-demand thing. But let me ask you: are you at all, when you look at who's playing for the Knicks? There are a lot of guys who are playing that are a little bit older. It's supposed to be a young team. Courtney Lee's getting a lot of minutes. Now Jared Jack is getting a lot of minutes. You got Lance Thomas getting minutes. Are you worried at all they're playing too many of the older guys?
Not really, because I mean, there's not like, other than Frank, who I mean, we'd like to see Dodson, but who are they really taking minutes away from?
Yeah, I think Dodson's the only one I actually would like to see sooner. I haven't seen him during practice, so I don't really know what he's like in practice. But I'd like to see him get a lot of minutes much sooner. He looked the way they talk about him in the preseason, and I saw a glimpse of it in the preseason. But the way they talk about him, that he could be someone that could have a role in this team sooner than later. And he's supposed to be solid on defense, which I like, obviously.
That's fine, but I mean, Frank isn't ready to have full-time point guard duties, so I'm fine with Jack playing. Lee is, you have to have at least one vet out there, so that's our vet. Well,
There's also the argument that, like, for Jack, that you need some guy who's competent at a point. If you have Jack and Ntilikina playing well in point guard, the whole offense works a lot better.
Exactly.
Any frustration with Hernan Gomez not getting bigger minutes?
As long as O'Quinn keeps playing as good as he is, I can't complain. I mean, right now, O'Quinn's been playing good all season, but even tonight, he played 6 minutes, and he has a plus-minus of plus 14.
Wow, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, so I really can't complain about that.
I mean, he's 28, so he's not exactly he's not exactly old either. So he's one of the guys that you feel like he could have a role on a decent team.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing really well, so I like Willie. I like to see him play, but Porzingis, Cantor, and O'Quinn are all playing well. So what can you do?
Okay, we're gonna go to Facebook questions. Ben writes, and some of the questions came in post Celtic game prior to the Nets game.
I'm pretty sure we'll be able to tell which came in which.
Okay. Ben writes, I've been a Knicks fan for around 10 years, and aside from Barks trying to dunk from the free throw line, I've had no joy from it. Can I sue James Dolan for mental anguish and depression?
If we could, maybe we could do a class action thing.
Yeah, why not? I think Hardaway just hit another shot. Oh, no, that was that Ntilikina that hit that shot?
Me Duke had asked the question. He wants to know, would we want Bledsoe?
That's something we should talk about, right?
Yeah,
we talk about it last week a little bit?
He's on my fantasy team, and the Suns won't play him until he goes to a new team.
So we talked about the curse of Jay's fantasy team. We talked about it a little bit. Jay had on the first day of the season, two of his players, Gordon Hayward and the guy with the broken face in the Bulls,
Mirotic.
That was the start of the curse of Jay's fantasy team. Tell us more, Jay. Now he has Bledsoe, who the team won't play until he gets traded. Go on.
I have Whiteside, who got a concussion after game 1 and hasn't played since. I have Bradley Beal, who got into a fight and ended up with a stat line of like 4-4 when he got kicked out.
Jay, who's your best player on your team that's active right now? Who's playing? Who's not injured?
Maybe Fournier. Covington's playing really well.
Okay, so let's say Fournier. Mm-hmm. What bad thing is going to happen to Fournier? Let's just try to figure it out. Fournier is going to somehow be captured by ISIS, and the United States will have to decide whether they want to pay the ransom of terrorists.
Fournier is averaging 25-4.
Holy crap! He's really due for an injury on your team.
So I'm about to win my second week in a row, despite all that, which is insane.
Okay. Well, that's who are you playing? Was the entire team you were playing against like the New York Knicks backups?
Well, my guys can all shoot threes. I almost broke an 8-year league record this week for 3-pointers made.
Really?
Yeah, I have 74 so far, and I think like 81's the all-time record.
By the way, Hardaway has 30 points now. Go on.
Bellinelli's been going nuts. Fournier, Covington, Wes Matthews.
You had to say Covington, right?
Yeah, I did.
Jay wants me to apologize about Covington. I'm never going to apologize about that guy.
Ryan Anderson hit 17 threes in his last 3 games.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it hasn't been too bad, but I would like Bledsoe and Whiteside back like immediately.
Yeah, well, I can see that would be helpful. That would
Yeah.
be helpful. I saw and someone posted on Twitter that they said, what is it? Ron Baker, who's been injured the last 2 games, his contract is the most inexplicable thing the Knicks have done. And I'd like to say, would you agree with that statement?
No.
I would say in the last 10 years, the Knicks have easily done 10 more things that are more inexplicable than Ron Baker's contract.
Yeah. Trading 3 draft picks and 3 picks for Bargs, who was about to get bought out, is
One. Let's go
probably
back
number
and
one.
forth. Go back and forth real quick.
Okay.
Timmy's contract.
Noah's contract.
Picking up the option on Chauncey Billups and then cutting him right afterwards, or then amnestying him right afterwards.
Yeah, that's a good one. Having an uninsured contract for Amari.
Yep. Picking up Phil Jackson's contract and then buying him out a week later.
I see a trend here. Giving Melo a no trade clause and then trying to trade him.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's 6 right there, right? Just
Or
off
7.
the top of the head, 7.
7 right there. I think we can beat this. 3 more to go. Jeremy Lin becomes a sensation. Knicks says say bye-bye.
No, Knicks tell him to shop around and they'll match, and they get mad when he shops around.
That's true. What else? Okay, that's 8. What else is inexplicable?
Kurt Rambis being anywhere near the team.
Well, who? Oh, Kurt Rambis being everyone on the team. And number 10.
Can I do number 10?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Having Steve Mills interview for his replacement.
Okay.
It's Bledsoe.
Okay.
Bledsoe. Do we want Bledsoe?
In theory, yeah. In theory, he's a very competent point guard. Plays defense. He'd be a dynamic player to get in the Knicks. If it's gonna, I go back. I went back and forth a little bit on this, but the more I think about it, the more I'm just saying no. It's going to cost the Knicks too much.
Well, here's the thing. He has an extensive injury history.
Extensive.
And he's 28, which means he's going to want a max contract at 29 and a half.
Knicks can't even give him one because they don't have the money for it.
Let's just argue 29 and a half. They somehow murder Noah or whatever, and they have the space to do it.
By the way, for those listening, we're not actually suggesting that. We
We're
don't
not.
want to be involved in your conspiracy to kill Noah. Go on.
So you max out a 29-year-old with an injury history. I believe we've seen this story written before.
Yeah. I also feel like what they were asking for Hernan Gomez and Ntilikina.
Yeah.
And I think before I watched Ntilikina play, I was like, whatever. I mean, Bledsoe's a lot better than Ntilikina. But I after seeing Ntilikina play, I'm so much higher on him right now. Hernan Gomez, I could have said, okay, we have Cantor, we have Cock. I can live with it a little more. But I think your argument is probably the best argument. We're not playing to win right now. What is Bledsoe really going to get us?
Right.
How much better we're going to be? And also, if he's so good, why does the Suns suck?
Also, we were talking about this offline. We've given up on so many players so quick. I just looked at the Bulls play. They're starting Grant, Lopez, and Holiday, all of whom were playing very well.
Well, not the most recent game, but yeah, go on.
I mean, I'd take 4 out of 5 good games as opposed to 1 out of 5.
Jerry Grant's looking pretty decent. He looks like he could be a serviceable point guard. He's still developing, but not a guy we should have given up on.
No,
right
I mean,
away.
he's super young, and he's averaging 6.5 assists a game.
Yeah,
Destroys anything the Knicks have.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ntilikina is going to be better, but it's not. It just made no sense to give up.
But would you feel better with Frank and Sessions or Frank and Grant?
I mean, I think the craziest thing they've ever did was not even close to ever did. But I remember the craziest thing was when they drafted with the number 8 pick in the draft, they drafted what's his name in the LeBron year? The one they drafted number 8 and then they got rid of right away.
Jordan Hill.
Yeah, Jordan Hill, who did not turn out to have the best NBA career, but the Knicks drafted him. 2 months later, they got rid of him because they're like, we're all on LeBron. You draft the guy number 8 in the draft, and you couldn't figure out how to keep him for more than 2 months.
Well, also when we did our list of stupid things the Knicks have done, we didn't even say trading Lopez and Holiday for Rose.
Yeah, or yes. Lopez and Holiday? You mean
Lopez and Grant.
Yeah, Lopez and Grant. Okay, so Nick writes, does it seem like the Knicks finally learned how to tank?
No. They're about to go on a 2-game win streak.
Yeah, 2-game win streak. Jason writes, who's my cousin actually, says, I have a topic for you. Manure. I guess my cousin now has been following our show. Frank writes, I'm predicting a 112-92 loss to the Nets tonight. How did I do? You did horribly, Frank. It's funny also because the Knicks played horribly against the Nets in both preseason games.
Yeah, we got stomped in the preseason. I was so worried going into that game.
By the way, Hardaby's injured. He's out for the season.
I wouldn't be surprised. No, he's not on my fantasy team, so I know you're lying.
He's laying down on the ground for a second. They picked him up, but I was like, oh god, he's on the ground. God damn it! Did you at the end of the first half, he bumped knees with someone and he was limping off the court. He's fine now, but I was like, yeah, figures. He gets 24 points in the first half and he's done. He's like, guys, mic drop. I'm done. See you guys. Never. My career's over. Yeah. Knicks, by the way, are up by 17 points still, and we're in the fourth quarter. They got to beat Cleveland tonight. Frank writes, can the Knicks issue me a refund for my NBA League Pass subscription?
I think this is pre-Nets game.
And Paul wrote, watch the Kings. And Frank writes, I'm really enjoying watching the Nets, to be honest. So am I, Frank. I'm enjoying watching the Nets play the Knicks. Dan writes, the Suns want to... So you were, by the way, just Bledsoe. You're saying, we're both saying no on Bledsoe, right?
Unless it's like, not for Frank and Willie.
I mean, what if it's Hernan Gomez and the Bulls pick?
I might do that. I'm worried about doing that and pissing off Porzingis.
Yeah. I mean, but then you piss off Porzingis. You're like, Porzingis, you want to be better now. Bledsoe, I know this guy's your best friend, but Bledsoe's really good.
Yeah.
And he'll be injured in time for your prime of your career.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. People are saying the Bledsoe, the Suns are in a bad position. They're as bad as the Knicks were with Melo, which I completely think is totally not true.
No, they're worse.
They're worse?
I mean,
why?
Why? Because he tweeted, I don't want to be here, and they're literally sitting him out. They're not even pretending to, like...
First of all, he was at the salon. He was talking about being at the salon, the hair salon. Nothing to do with Phoenix whatsoever.
At least the Knicks pretended that they didn't want to trade Melo. Like, the Suns are like, we're literally sitting you until we trade you.
Well, yeah, but the Suns are really bad. They're tanking anyway, or might as well be tanking. I think the Suns in many ways can just say, hey, we have 29 options on this. We can wait till we get the best offer. The Knicks were like, hey, Melo, can we add another team to this? Like, I think there's leverage there. I think teams will give like the Cavs have to give an offer for Bledsoe. If you're the Cavs, you don't have a lot to offer, but would you give the Brooklyn pick to get him?
I don't know, because I think if you're the Cavs, you think Isaiah's coming back, and then you're gonna have a problem once he comes back.
Play both of them. You can't play both of them? Why not? How about just have good players? Just add more good players to the team. You want to have a shot against Golden State? Add more good players.
Yeah, I feel like if they do that, then they're gonna have a problem with playing everybody. You know, if you don't give people enough minutes, they're gonna get pissed off. If you get Bledsoe, then you stop playing Smith or Korver or Wade.
I don't know. You want to win the title this year. You want LeBron to come back. The Brooklyn pick gets you nothing.
Yeah, but
You
team
have
chemistry is a lot of basketball. And if
You
you
have
say
the
like,
rest. You have 70 games to build team chemistry.
yeah, but what are you going to say? Hey, Wade, we got somebody that plays your position, so now you're not playing anymore.
Hey Wade, you're tired most days. You need like every other night off anyway.
Oh, my fantasy team, Zach Randolph is now on an every other game schedule.
Anyone losing their visa and being deported?
Look at it.
By the way, the Knicks are only by 12 now, so I'm getting a little worried here. But I have to say I don't know. If I'm the Cavs, I go all in this season. The Lakers don't look that great. LeVar Ball looks fine so far, but they're not a huge draw. You have to convince LeBron that he should come back next year, and the best way to convince him to come back next year is to go all in on this year.
I mean, it would help the Lakers cause a lot if Ingram would stop looking like garbage.
Yeah, that would help. Dan writes, the Suns want Frank or Willie for Bledsoe. Would you do it since we'd get rid of the a BAS contract like Noah's? What's BAS stand for? Beast of shit?
I don't know.
Beast? Okay.
But I would say there's no way they're going to take on Noah's contract.
What if you swap Noah's contract for Tyson Chandler's contract?
Doesn't Tyson Chandler end a year earlier?
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah,
So
what if they would let you do that?
Hey, can we add a year of garbage salary to our roster?
Well, maybe they say they want to get rid of Bledsoe because you're giving them. I'm not doing this trade, and we're not getting rid of Noah. Noah is here for life. Paul writes, I know no one on the Knicks would probably cares enough to get into a fight, but if they did, who would be most likely to break whose face? So if the Knicks,
Beasley punching.
come on, I'm going to say it before you even say it. Ron Baker. You know Ron Baker has a breakable face.
He does, but I was thinking.
I like Ron Baker, but he has a breakable face.
Yeah, but he's strong. I would say Kuz.
Kuz?
I feel like Kuz wouldn't fight back. I feel like Ron would.
I feel like Kuz would be like smiling the whole time, bleeding. He'd be like, good shot.
Yeah, I'm sorry I bled on you.
Sorry, I bled on you. Our diehard fan has not called yet. Should we remind people or
no?
Okay. Dan writes, I know you hate talking about the draft at this point, but if we got him, you think we would push you right over the edge or for a bad draft pick? Wait, I know you hate talking about the draft at this point, but if we got him, you think he would? Am I missing part of Dan's question? I don't understand. If they got Bledsoe, do you think he'd push? He would push us off getting a bad draft pick.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also,
yeah.
By the way, Knicks are only up by 9 now. 8:41 in the game. Cleveland's turning it on. I'm getting kind of worried. I'm glad we're not recording at the end of that game because we might be in a worse mood very soon.
It's funny because Martin, who has been on this podcast a few times, texted me right after the third quarter and said, no way they hold on to this lead. They're up by 17.
LeBron's running with the ball. Oh, God. LeBron's taking the ball to the hole. He just beat the crap out of Cantor. And then they're not calling any foul because why would they? LeBron just ran right into Cantor. Cantor's like, I'm standing here. And the ref's like, get out of his way. Frank writes, let's go through 4 of the 5 Bulls starters from Thursday night. Lopez averages 15 points a game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Justin Holiday's averages 17 points a game, 5 rebounds, 1.5 assists. Jerry Grant averages 10.8 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 7.3 assists a game.
We'll continue that question in a minute.
Yeah, diehard Knicks fan.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
How's it going? This is Bill.
Hey, Bill. How you doing? You are
good.
You are here on the New York Knicks podcast for 10 minutes with a diehard Knicks fan. I'm gonna start on the clock right now. How did you become a Knicks fan?
How did I become a Knicks fan? Mid-90s, Ewing. I'm about around 30 years old, so right around the mid-90s when I first started watching basketball and getting into it. Obviously, we were a great player, a great team, and obviously I'm a New Yorker as well. So that's pretty much it. I mean, the 90s rough and tough team, basically.
So many people have that 90s story. How many people are going to have the story of, well, I was a really depressed kid. It was the aughts. 2005-06, Knicks looked like garbage. They fit right within my mood, and that's why I started rooting for them.
Imagine, right? In 10 years, where are the young fans going to come from? I mean, although they're playing pretty fast tonight, so maybe there's something there. But it's been pretty disappointing for the last 10, 20 years now.
I was watching Jared Jeffries and Jerome James, and I said, yeah, fan for life.
Right. Jared Jeffries, yeah. When the fans used to boo him and just by making his mistakes, and that inspires you to be a fan.
I liked cheeseburgers. The Knicks center Eddie Curry liked cheeseburgers. I felt like there was a kinship.
I was treating my team like stocks, buy low.
Right.
So our big revelation since last show is that Ntilikina actually plays basketball, and he looked pretty good. What's your take on Ntilikina?
Oh man, he's been looking pretty good. I mean, his shot. I knew there was a shot there from watching some of his highlights in the Euro days, but he looks great, and he's been making some really great passes tonight. It's a lot of and you know what? The one thing, I know we like to bash Phil, but the one thing with Phil is that he's got it right 2 years in a row, right? Not in a row, but 2 years, 2 drafts. He's gotten it right. I mean, I was kind of mad at first. I didn't understand. I was like, Dennis Smith Jr. is an obvious pick. It fell to us, but Phil's got some good instincts, and I think he's right. So far, I think he's right. We should have gotten who we did. So. Yeah.
Tell me, after watching 4 games of Timmy Hardaway, are you shocked he has 34 points tonight?
I am, but I've been noticing he's kind of reminding me a little bit of JR this year, where he's taking too many outside shots and he has some potential when he goes inside. And I'm always like, every time he touches the ball, I'm like, go inside. And he's been doing that this game, and his shot's been fallen too. But every time I feel like when he was in Atlanta, his shot really, his play really kind of went to the next level, because he was really pounding guys inside and driving the ball. So who knows? Maybe maybe this is promising. I was gonna tell you guys, just a few players that we should just kind of stop giving play time to. Most of the older ones. And
that's the easy thing. But go on. Who should we stop giving play time to?
Well, I think we all agree, right? I mean, I've been listening to you guys for, a year and a half, and I think Mark, you, me, even Jay, we're all on the same page. We watch the games, and I feel like you guys have come to the same, realizations or recommendations of what they should do. So, I think Beasley, we should just give his playing time to, anybody else, particularly McDermott. He's been looking great, McDermott's been looking awesome. I don't know. What do you guys think of McDermott?
I think I wouldn't say he's looking awesome, but I do want to see them develop him. I would say I'd like to see some more playing time for Dotson. He's young. He seems like he has a lot of defense. He's supposed to have good defensive instincts. I'd like to see him develop him more. I know they will play him, but I'd like to see it faster. But McDermott, he's 25 years old. If he could play a lick of defense, he'd be a whole lot better of a player.
Here's how I analyze these teams, right? I'm thinking in 4 years, when some of these terrible contracts mature and we get rid of some of these guys, Tim Hardaway, if he's good, we might re-sign him for a much lesser deal because we'll have some real players. Here's what I'm thinking. McDermott, Cantor, even Cock, they all might end up on the team, right? Along with KP. So those are the guys we should be, and even maybe Dotson, right? Like, we should be giving these guys time versus Beasley, Sessions, Thomas, even Ron Baker. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. You can play defense, but you have to play both sides. Like, you can't just play great D. This is why our expectations of Knicks fans are so low, because we're like, oh, he can play D, put him in,
Well, I mean, that says a lot for the last 10 years of the Knicks. If you can play D, like I am not as
Right.
down on Baker. He does look offensively challenged. He does
Come
look
on.
offensively challenged, but his defense has looked all right. I don't think he's looked. I think there's some potential there. I don't think he's ever going to be a starting point guard, but I do think he could be a serviceable guy off the bench.
Mark, do you think he's going to be around in 4 years when we actually have some more draft picks, when we're actually a formidable team? Do you think he'll be around?
I think the Knicks are going to max him soon. He's going to get a super max.
Exactly, right? If they did it for Tim, why not, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, your point is valid. You want to give the minutes to the guys who are going to be around, but it's still hard to say exactly who's going to be around. You want to develop. Cantor looks like there are a lot of guys in this team. They can play a lick of D. They'd be guys that be around. Baker falls in the other category of a guy. If you can play a little bit of offense, he'd be around also. So you gotta be willing to play guys that are like. There are a lot of guys who basically came in the league and weren't so good at first, and maybe could play defense and ended up. Here's an example.
Of course. You gotta judge by potential, of course. But like that's why I'm looking at McDermott, and I'm saying, yeah, he's not like a starter material, although he should be starting in our team. But I see potential there. He runs fast. He's got the three, which is the future of the game, and he's got some defense. And he's been looking pretty good. I'm not a huge fan, but he's just an example of like, listen. If he's young, he'll be around in 4 years, and why not develop him? Why not develop him to a really good player? And
they have
Koch. Yeah,
McDermott, the contract is up at the end of the season. The Knicks will be have to decide at the end of the season where they want to keep McDermott.
Ooh, wow, yeah, then we should definitely keep him, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I'm still wait and see how he plays, but
it's too early, right? It's too early, of course.
Cantor, there's an option. And Cantor is going to probably pick up his option, so we'll probably have him here next year.
Yeah, well, that's good. And he lives in New York apparently, so he shouldn't. He's one of those guys that like being around New York. So hopefully we'll get him in a decent deal. And you know what I've been noticing tonight with Koch? I mean, dude, the guy every time he's kind of reminding me of like a little bit of a Draymond Green on defense inside. He's not a 7-footer, but guy goes inside tonight. I mean, it's almost 100% bet that they're gonna miss the shot. I mean, he's been really doing a good job.
He's a very, very poor man's Draymond Green.
Very poor. Hopefully, he can develop though. That's the thing.
Yeah. I have to say, I kind of like him out there. Like his shot blocking is really like it's a great thing he does. His passing. Like I feel like earlier in his career, like last couple of years, for every good pass he makes another dumb pass. But this year so far, I haven't seen as many of the dumb passes because he has good court vision.
Very true.
His court vision is better than most of the big guys on the Knicks.
Oh, totally. I mean, if we're talking about last year, the year before, I mean, the frustration with Kyle O'Quinn, I mean, has been pretty evident. But this year, yes, he has not been making those Jared Jeffrey-esque passes all over the place. So that's a good sign.
We have about almost at 9 minutes here. Let me ask you, Noah's coming back in like 8 games. What happens with Noah? I mean, who gets cut and does Noah get playing time right away? Does he start? What happens?
I hope not. I hope if Noah does not get playing time, we have way too many centers. Noah should be sort of the leader in the locker room, and that's that, right? I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would agree with you, but I feel like Hornacek's going to start him right away, which is going to be frustrating.
Well, see, this is the last point I want to make before my time is up, is the coaching, right? I live in New York, and I talk to some Knicks fans all over, and I'm not always talking about Knicks, but some of the true Knicks fans that I really respect, they came up with this idea about Mark Jackson, and I'm like, listen, if we're going to hire Mark Jackson as our coach, why not just throw Van Gundy and Ewing in there, right? They're coaches. But I guess the whole Mark Jackson thing is that he likes to play fast. He played the young guys. He gave them some minutes in Golden State. I don't know. But I don't know if Hornacek's working out, to be honest.
I feel like he's got this season. The Knicks will see what happens before they do anything.
Right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, throwaway season. Why not?
You're at 10 minutes. I'll ask you one quick question. Should Patrick Ewing be the Knicks coach?
I think he could be a really great assistant. I really do, or an associate, quote unquote associate, versus Kurt Rambis, the associate. But I don't know. I love Patrick Ewing, and I think he could be. I really do. Will we give him a shot? No, because the Knicks organization hates the '90s team, and they never give him any respect. So yeah.
It is bizarre to me how much they don't please celebrate the '90s teams. So Bill, thank you very much for joining us. Another awesome session of 10 minutes with a diehard Knicks fan.
Do you have a
thanks,
Twitter
guys.
or anything?
Keep it up. You guys are hilarious.
Thank you.
Anything you want to promote, Twitter or anything else you want to mention?
No, man. No. Keep getting these blog podcasts out there, man. I love them.
Okay, we
Thank
will,
you so much.
and thanks for joining us.
All right, see you guys.
Okay, going back to questions. Oh, by the way, Knicks are now up by 13 points with 4 minutes to go. This may not be the same old Knicks.
It's true. We need a couple more pieces, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than a couple, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Exactly,
a couple 7 or 8.
Right.
All right. Thanks again, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks again, man.
All right. See you
Okay.
guys.
Bye.
All right.
Okay,
So
Jay?
that was another good call. We've
Another good call.
we've been getting. I think we've been getting lucky with this.
We already have one book for next week. If you want to get on this, let us know. We'd love having 10 minutes of Knicks fans. Okay, let's go back to the question. So Knicks are up by 13, or up by 10, sorry, now with under 4 minutes to go. They better freaking win this game. Okay, so Rob writes, Frank's question we left off, how do you feel about the fact that the Bulls starting lineup is all ex-Knicks? I guess we addressed this already.
Yeah.
Rob writes,
Oh no, you didn't finish the. You were in the middle of the other one where you're breaking down everyone's stats.
Oh, and maybe the worst of all, the answers to the question of who was taken before Frank in the 2017 NBA draft will become a Hall of Famer. Lauri Markkanen, averaging 15.8 points a game, 10 rebounds, taking 1 pick before we took Frank. But hey, they have Noah and Timmy on reasonable contracts. I didn't know Markkanen was playing that well.
Yeah, he's been playing really good. So we could have had Holiday, Grant, Lopez, Markkanen, and Porzingis.
What does Markkanen play? Is he a center or is he more of a power forward? Like, is he Porzingis or what kind of player is he?
I think he's playing like a 3.
Playing like a 3? Is he a 7-footer?
Yeah, but he's one of those like skinny guys.
Right. Well, yeah. But so my question is, that kind of guy, would he play? I see him right here. I'm looking him up. He wouldn't play. You're not going to have how. Do you think he'd match up well with? Do you think it would make sense to have him, Porzingis, and like Hernangomez on the court at the same time? Or Cock or whatever else. Like, is it going to would that have really worked having him on the court with Porzingis?
I mean, I would probably rather Frank, but I mean, the point is we could have had a better team if we just were patient and didn't make stupid moves.
By the way, when I Googled him, the first thing came up is Lauri Markkanen sets an unmatched 3-point record after 4 NBA games.
Great.
Everyone was killing the Bulls with that pick also.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And so when the first comment is Eric writes, the Bulls are bad, though. Yeah. But I have to say that the big thing really is that I feel like they never should have done the Rose trade, but whatever. We are where we are, and I like Kristaps, and I like the fact that I like what I've seen from Frank so far. Rob writes, why do you eat arse with a fork? And Daniel writes, that's a perfect description of being a Knicks fan. Paul writes, since we can't move Willie or Frank, maybe Cantor for Bledsoe, and one day Willie becomes Cantor. Would you do, and Paul also writes, now Chandler's on the table, Noah and Cantor for Bledsoe Chandler. I know they can't wait to move Chandler. They can't want to move Chandler that bad, though. What if that's the offer? Noah and Cantor for Bledsoe and Chandler. How fast do you say yes? Do you not say yes, Jay?
No, you say yes.
I mean, that would be just insane.
Yeah.
By the way, I just saw it. You don't have the game in the background, right? I do the game.
I just have the box score up.
Porzingis just drove to the basket and did like some underhanded, it was like a Magic Johnson-esque play. I love Porzingis. Knicks are going to win this game. They're up by 15 with 2:30 to go in the game. they're actually going to beat the Cavs. I know the Cavs look like crap so far this year, but I'm ecstatic.
Weird. Derrick Rose is their point guard, and they look like garbage.
That's weird because they have a super team if they have Porzingis. I mean, if they have Derrick Rose. What if it's just Cantor? Let's say it's just Cantor for Bledsoe. Let's say somehow they match the money. Would you do that? Are you willing? Maybe a better question. Are you willing to trade Cantor right now?
I'd rather not. I mean, he's got 18 and 12 tonight.
Yeah. Do you think Cantor will develop enough on defense to be a really good player in the NBA? Like right now, he is a all-star level offensive player. He's a D-League level defensive player.
Yeah.
And defense hasn't been as bad as advertised all the time. But there's been definitely like pick and roll. You can see like his defense is mediocre and suspect.
Well, I mean, look at the starting lineup. The other 4 starters have a plus 20 something, and he has a plus 6.
Yeah. Do you think he'll be good enough? And he's also a guy that like even with his offense, like you could easily take him off the bench and he'd be a solid guy off your bench. Do you think he'll be good enough on defense that you say like, hey, this guy's not going to be an all-star? Like, do you think like they can get him there? Like at 25, can you develop real defensive play? Can your defense get that much better?
It would be really hard. I feel like he shouldn't be that bad. I don't know.
Can you develop like guys can become better shooters? Like my argument with Ron Baker is a lot of guys came in the league, they weren't amazing shooters, but they developed. And you could see maybe Ron Baker is a hard worker. Maybe he works the next couple off seasons, and a couple years he's a solid NBA shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But can you develop defense later on? Or is defense just so much more instinctual, or like it's just the element of defense something that you can't develop once you get after a certain point in your career?
It's a lot harder because it is instinctual, but it can be done.
Yeah. Matt writes, I cannot believe what difference a win makes. Really pleasing to see that Frank looked great out there and the team played some real defense. Jack really did stop the endless stream of turnovers and set the tone a little differently. It made me see that if Timmy plays half decently with Porzingis getting his 25 to 30, along with Ntilikina passing well to guys in position to score, there really is some hope. I know it's just one win, but wow, it sure felt great. I mean, I thought that was awesome. I mean, like, that was such a fun game to watch. And I can't believe my son wanted to watch that entire game again the next day, and that was awesome to watch again.
Gilliam is saying that Cantor's defense today has been better than Melo last season.
Maybe. By the way, Melo's playing pretty well in OKC. I'm not being sarcastic. His efficiency is up at least. Like he's shooting better than last year.
Well, when you have a point guard, it helps.
Okay, so the Knicks are now up by 19 points with 15 seconds to go. I think they have this locked down. I was watching the net game with my son. The Knicks were up by 20 with 30 seconds to go in the game. And he's like, my son's like, well, if they hit if they hit 10 shots against the Knicks, we're in trouble. But it's probably not gonna happen in the next 30 seconds, son. Yeah. Maybe I should see my son in the morning. He wants to watch this game also. I'm tape all the Knicks games, so.
Yeah. Why not?
Matt writes, a study of Frank's defense, several examples of showcase of how good a defender this guy is, and he gave a YouTube clip that I had watched already of Frank's defense in the Nets game, and there were a lot of little things that you probably didn't notice right while watching it live. Where you're like, oh, that was a smart move. Oh, he had his arms up. Oh, he cut off this pass. Like things that weren't as noticeable, but like why the defense looked good when he was playing. Mm-hmm. Knicks won, 114-95. Awesome. Yep. I would have been so upset if they blew that game. They stat lines from this game, just cutting to this. 34 points for Hardaway, 32 for 66 points between Porzingis and Hardaway.
I'll take that.
And 84 if you had in 84 points between Porzingis, Cantor, and Hardaway.
Jesus.
That's a lot. Frankie ends up with 5 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 3 rebounds. I'm fine with that. 60 minutes. Yeah, I'd like him to get over 20 minutes a game.
I mean,
Hardaway,
in 16 minutes, that's pretty good production.
Hardaway played 41 minutes tonight. That's a little aggressive.
A little bit.
But he was okay. I am happy though that is a remarkable win.
Yeah.
Can we get a parade? Darryl writes, okay, Phil, thanks for Frank, but Jay, who will be the third piece to complement Porzingis and Frenchie for the long-term success? It's not Hardaway, is it?
Either this year's draft pick or we'll have money for a free agent, right?
Stop kidding about free agency. Who's the draft pick going to be, Jack? Jay, you predict it now. You predicted KP you got KP super early. You were predicting Frenchie for a while. Who do you got?
Doncic.
Okay, Doncic. You don't like knowing nothing about the dude. What position is Doncic?
2 or 3.
Okay, I mean that's what we need. We need a 2 or 3 badly. So
yeah,
we need a 3. We need a real 3 badly on this team. That would make the team a lot better. Gilliam writes, I see Ntilikina's grave. It has a quote, and all of a sudden, all Knicks point guard problems were solved. I'm going to like that on Facebook right now. Adam writes, is it wrong that I would rather listen to your podcast and watch actual games?
Nope.
I really
think
don't.
More people should do that.
I really don't give a crap about the team anymore. We will get beat by Nets tonight, most likely. I guess this question came before. Then he writes, I've gotten infinitely more joy out of the podcast than I have out of the team since 2013. And then Ricky writes, only thing wrong is Knicks basketball, but hey, good win last night. Jason writes, why do people keep saying I'm a cuck since I'm a Knicks fan? How does being a Knicks fan imply that I like my wife being banged by a black guy? Mark, you're the expert. Thoughts? Jason's a big listener of our Break Insanity show and likes to write those kind of questions. Liam writes, does the Knicks losing or winning impact the cryptocurrency Jason invested in?
Let's see. Since the Knicks started winning, my cryptocurrency's been going up.
Okay. Jay, if you listen to our Brink show, you'll know that Jay has gotten into the wild, wild world of cryptocurrency. Liam writes, are one of the conditions to being a good power bottom is it to be a Knicks fan? Adam writes, after Frank's debut, I expect the pod to open with the French national anthem. I tried, Adam. Jay resisted. He shouldn't keep resisting. Liam writes, Jason, you bought 100 Knicks pens for $100. I think that is a good investment, and you should buy 3 more orders before the Knicks pen go up in value. Dragon marketing at its best. I think he means guerrilla marketing at its best. Eris writes, we're almost done here. Eris writes, which basketball team has made their fans go through the most pain?
Which player?
Which basketball team? What team has made their fans what team has put their fans in the most pain?
I mean, I want to say the Knicks, but they've won a couple championships.
Sacramento. Sacramento looked good for a little while in the early 2000s.
Arguably got robbed out of a championship, but since then they've been the worst team in the league. Timberwolves.
Timberwolves have it rough. What are they at? They had one good year.
Yeah, one conference finals.
One conference final with Kevin Garnett, and then nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they're gonna. They might be good again.
Gilliam is saying Doncic is actually a 1 or a 2. He's 6'7". Oh. He's 6'7", though. So probably a 2.
Well, if he's more of a 2, that would be okay. Who's the other guy everyone's talking about? Who's the other top draft pick?
Is it Porter?
Yeah. What position is Michael Porter?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to look that up and spend the next half hour researching this. He's 6'10". I don't know. He looks like he is I can't believe how little I know about these guys, and I'm looking this up as we're talking. He's a small forward, which is what we need. Okay, Eris writes, how much money have you guys spent on the Knicks in total? How much did this fandom cost you in total?
Well, I mean, if you count
Jay, just you want to just give the worth of your soul, because that's what it cost me.
I mean, if you're talking about like podcasting, then the number's in the hundreds, if not thousands.
And that is sad. Support us on Patreon. Liam writes, how would you guys feel if the Knicks players started kneeling to the American national anthem like in football? That's a good question, actually.
I wouldn't care.
I'd be totally fine with it. I think this whole, if they want to do that, That's fine. That's what they want to protest. I don't think the national anthem should be even part of sports.
Does it delay the game? No, I don't care.
Yeah. Jason writes, guys, who is the Knicks team you refer to? Who on the Knicks team is the guy you refer to as cock? What the fuck, Mark? Keep your fantasy to yourself.
That's Kyle O'Quinn. K-O-Q.
Kyle O'Quinn. K-O-Q. And you'll see in print he's referred to as cock also. We're not the only ones that call him cock. And that's all our questions today. What did we learn today, Jay?
He added one, who is our most hated player now and hated player of all time for the Knicks.
Hated player now. Well, hated player of all time is Sasha of all time. Probably not Sasha.
Might be JR.
Eddie Curry.
Could be Jerome James.
Stephen Marbury.
No, Marbury.
He's good for a while.
Yeah.
He's good. Just the way it ended up.
Maybe Curry, just because like he didn't play just because he got fat. Like, there's no excuse for that.
I mean, that, like, what a gigantic disappointment he was.
But I mean, that's
actually, never mind. I disagree with everything you're saying. I'm going to, hands down, the conversation is going to be over when I say this player's name. Mm-hmm. Did you know who it is?
No.
Bargs.
No.
No, he's not your most hated?
No, like, I hated the move, and I hated how we got him, but, like...
I hated seeing Bargs in the court. It just,
I already knew he sucked. I don't know. Maybe I'll go with either Curry or JR, because JR was just, like, stoned or whatever while he was playing, or hungover. Maybe even JR.
JR was so frustrating because you knew he could be better.
Yeah.
And he admitted it when he got to Cleveland that he could have been better here.
Yeah.
That he didn't focus enough. That was very frustrating. And he'd do things like idiotic things, like in Game 3 against the Celtics when he elbowed who did he elbow in the playoff game? And then he turned the series around, almost had the Knicks lose the series.
Right. Yeah, the Celtics series. Was it? And I guess now would be Hardaway.
Hardaway's the guy you hate the most? He scored 34 points tonight, Jay.
So
how do you hate him now? 34 freaking points.
My hatred doesn't go away from one good game.
Jay, he loves you, Jay. He dedicated his 34 points to you.
I don't like his dad. I don't like his first 2 years with the Knicks. I don't like him.
Well,
now.
I don't like his dad either, but yeah. Well, I feel like actually trading him was probably the best thing for him and the Knicks. So.
Yeah, but then we got him back.
Well, yeah, that happened too. The guy I hate most on the Knicks right now, KP. I hate that guy. Who do I hate most on this team?
Noah.
Noah, hands down, not even close. Yeah, there's no one else. Like, I don't hate anyone else in this team. Like, Noah is just flat out, like, I dislike Noah greatly, but no one else in this team. Everyone else is pretty likable in this team, I feel like. What was the second half of that question?
That was it. It was current and all time.
Oh, current and all time. Okay. What did we learn today? We learned today that Jay hates all the players that scored 34 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. What did we learn, Jay?
We learned that even with a halfway decent point guard, the Knicks look like a completely different team.
Yeah, we learned how refreshing it is to have a guy with court vision.
Who would have thought, if you fill up the most important position, that the team would look better?
Yeah, that's nifty concept. It's a crazy concept. We also learned, I don't know what else we learned. We learned the center position is still a little bit confusing.
Yeah, but in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. Yeah. Horny still, I'd say, we've learned a little more about Horny, that he's going to be I'm not sure if he's the right coach for the Knicks yet, but I think he's going to be a better coach than he was last year.
Yeah.
Right. And we learned the Cleveland Cavaliers don't look very good so far at the start of the year.
They don't. Who would have thought, with Rose leading the way, that they would look bad?
Derrick Rose tonight is a negative 22.
So,
and J.R. Smith was a negative 24.
Subscribing and leaving reviews on iTunes helps the show out a lot, so you can do that. Any sort of retweets, follows, all that stuff. All that helps the show, gets the word out, more eyes on it. So anything you want to do.
If you like the show a lot, show up at Jay's apartment in the middle of the night and just knock on his door and say hi and tell me you like the show.
Instagram, we're NY Knicks Podcast. We're also NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter and Facebook. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is the email. If you want.
What's our call-in number?
631-676-1181. You can leave us a voicemail. And
and if you want to be 10 minutes of Nick fandom on the show, Nick diehard fan, just let us know and we'll figure out a show for you to be on.
Yeah, email us, and if you want to write for the show, you could also email us. We'll plug whatever you want. And
if you want to, if you look something like Jay and you want to take the CPA exam for him, let us know. Also, we can work something out with that.
I will cut the skin off of my pointer finger and sew it to you so that you can get through the scanner to take the
scanner.
Test. Yeah, I have to scan my fingerprints to take the test.
Holy crap!
And
would you cut off your fingerprints to do that? Like, would that be worth it for you so you don't have to take the exam anymore?
Yeah,
and
who
get
needs
to
a
pass
fingerprint? I don't care.
By the way, we had one. We do like to read the podcast reviews we get on iTunes. October 16th, is that a one that I don't think we've read it yet.
I don't think we've read it in months, have we?
It's from Murky Waters, 5 stars, love the podcast. Another painful year of New York Knicks basketball. I can't wait. And then there was one from October 4th we've not read either by MPEC5578. God help you, Knicks fans. Being as Knicks fans, one can only have a sense of humor. It is so hard to enjoy the game, but this podcast makes talking Knicks worthwhile. If you write a review, we will try to remember to read it.
There you go.
Okay.
We have Knicks pens.
Yes, we have Knicks pens. Play us out with the French national anthem.
I don't have that queued up. I'll do it next week. All right.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.